Imagine looking down at Earth from a satellite and seeing a patch of green so massive it swallows 40% of a continent. From up here, it looks peaceful, just one endless stretch of green. But if you actually zoom in, drop through the clouds, and step past the treetops, that peaceful image starts to fall apart. The bright afternoon sun disappears. The air turns thick, heavy, and smells like wet soil and leaves. You are suddenly standing in a world where 80% of the sunlight is erased before it ever touches the ground. In the deepest parts of this forest, the canopy blocks up to 92% of all incoming light. Even at midday, it can feel like the sun never quite found its way through the trees. Most people assume the Amazon is terrifying because of some giant mythical predator waiting in the shadows. The reality is far more fascinating. The forest itself is the mystery, and every layer seems to hide another beneath it. Calling the Amazon a forest almost feels too small. This is a world-sized system spanning nearly 3 million square miles, making it one of the richest ecosystems on the planet. Every layer of the forest is alive. Trees, insects, birds, fungi, reptiles, mammals. Life is packed into almost every available space. It is so ridiculously vast that it generates its own weather patterns, breathes out massive columns of moisture, and helps shape weather far beyond its borders. You are looking at a living system shaped over tens of millions of years, and even after centuries of exploration, we're still discovering what is hidden here. The strangeness starts long before you even touch a single leaf, because the Amazon depends on something you'd never expect. Every single year, colossal dust storms rise out of the scorching Sahara Desert in Africa. Millions of tons of this desert dust travel thousands of miles across the ocean, riding high-altitude winds across the Atlantic before finally settling over the Amazon basin. NASA satellites have tracked this journey, revealing that over 27 million tons of Saharan dust settle over the rainforest annually. This desert debris delivers thousands of tons of phosphorus, a vital nutrient that the Amazon needs because its own torrential rains constantly wash nutrients out of the soil. The most lush, vibrant jungle on Earth is literally being kept alive by a barren wasteland an ocean away. Apparently, the Amazon decided outsourcing fertilizer to another continent was a perfectly reasonable solution. But from the forest floor, none of that is visible. You don't see the desert dust, or the weather systems, or the massive scale. You just feel the forest closing in. Hollywood loves to portray the jungle as a place where you just hack your way through vines with a shiny machete, but the actual experience is far more disorienting. The forest doesn't have to trap you physically before it starts trapping you mentally. There is no horizon line, no distant landmark, and no reliable way to track the sun through the thick ceiling of leaves. The humidity hangs so heavily in the air that even standing still can feel exhausting. Everywhere you look, you see repeating patterns of trunks, identical walls of green, and mud that swallows footsteps. Every square inch sounds alive with a low, vibrating hum of millions of insects, yet you rarely see what is making the noise. People imagine getting lost because they wandered for miles. In the Amazon, just 50 feet off a trail can be enough. Because once you stop knowing where you are, every sound starts to matter. The deeper you go, the forest starts teaching you a simple lesson. Watch where you put your hands and your feet. The animals you should worry about usually aren't the biggest ones. They're the ones small enough to miss. There's the bullet ant, an insect that delivers a sting compared to being shot, causing waves of agony that last for a full 24 hours. Or the wandering spiders that blend flawlessly into dead leaves, whose venom can cause severe neurological symptoms. And even something as harmless looking as a fuzzy caterpillar can be dangerous. The venomous Linomia caterpillar is covered in tiny hollow spines that inject toxins when brushed against, and in severe cases, those toxins can trigger dangerous internal bleeding. The longer you spend learning about the Amazon, the more you realize that size isn't what makes something dangerous. the smallest things are often the ones you learn to respect the fastest. Even if you manage to avoid every hidden creature, the landscape has a few surprises of its own. Every rainy season, enormous rivers spill out into the forest, flooding millions of acres beneath dark, slow-moving water. It's possible because the Amazon River carries nearly 20% of all the fresh water that rivers deliver to the world's oceans. Water rises dozens of feet into the trees, allowing entire ecosystems of fish to swim through the high branches where birds were nesting just weeks prior. Ancient trails vanish under dark, mirror-like water, and for months at a time, places that were once forest become part of the river. In the Amazon, even the ground isn't permanent, but even all of that water isn't the whole story. Researchers analyzing temperature data from deep wells discovered evidence of a massive slow-moving underground flow system, often referred to as the Hamza. This is not a cinematic underground river with rushing rapids and glowing caverns, but rather a vast aquifer system buried miles beneath the surface. Water trickles incredibly slowly through porous rock, mimicking the general path of the Amazon River above, but moving at a mere fraction of the speed. For decades, nobody imagined there might be a second, hidden flow tracing the Amazon's path beneath the basin. It's another reminder that the Amazon has layers most of us never even think about. While that underground water moves incredibly slowly, some of the water on the surface couldn't be more different. Deep within the Peruvian Amazon sits a stretch of river that looks completely normal until you notice the heavy plumes of white steam rising from the surface. This is the Chennai Timpishka, where the water can reach nearly 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Small animals that accidentally fall in can be killed within moments. The most baffling part for geologists is that this thermal feature sits hundreds of miles away from the nearest active volcano. The river is fed by deep, ancient fault lines that pull cold rainwater deep into the earth, heat it to incredible temperatures, and bring it back to the surface. It sounds like the kind of place you'd expect to find in a legend. Instead, it's one more reminder that the Amazon doesn't need myths to feel mysterious. And somehow, even after everything we've uncovered, the Amazon still isn't finished surprising us. The Amazon is not mysterious because nobody has looked. It is mysterious because it is almost impossible to finish looking. Since the turn of the century, scientists have described over 2,000 new species of plants and vertebrates within the basin, averaging a new discovery every few days. We are talking about entirely new primates, birds, and insects, unlike anything most people have ever seen. Some parts of the Amazon are so difficult to reach that scientists are still studying them in detail for the first time. For all the satellites, drones, and scientific expeditions we've sent into the Amazon, we're still adding new entries to the catalogue of life. And somehow, the more we learn, the more unfinished the Amazon feels. The most profound secrets hidden beneath those trees are not biological, but historical. For a long time, many scientists believed large human civilizations couldn't thrive in much of the rainforest. That entire narrative is now being rewritten by laser mapping technology known as LiDAR. By flying planes over the jungle and firing billions of laser pulses through the gaps in the leaves, archaeologists have stripped away the canopy to reveal the ground below. They found a network of ancient settlements, complex road systems, massive earthworks, and organized agricultural fields hidden beneath the roots. Large, organized societies lived, built, and thrived here thousands of years ago, altering the very composition of the soil before the forest eventually reclaimed it all. The Amazon is an immense living archive preserving the memory of human worlds that disappeared beneath the trees. From space, the Amazon looks like one endless patch of green, but that's the illusion. Under that canopy are rivers that rewrite the map, forests that swallow the sun, species we've never seen, and entire civilizations that disappeared beneath the trees. We've spent centuries exploring this place, and somehow, it still feels like we're only standing at the edge. If you want to keep exploring the strangest corners of our planet and uncovering the mysteries hidden right under our noses, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment with the strangest fact you learned today, and join us for the next adventure into the unknown.